with every property owner all the way out. It's just that one issue. But it's not being given away. It's still, that condition has to be satisfied before we can do it. That's one of the things that I've woken up in the middle of the night thinking about, too, is Diane tries to sell a piece of property, and then the lender says, well, you can't build. That I don't want that coming back to me.
I'm not telling you how to do your business, but it seems like that should have been the first thing, because I wouldn't have spent 5 cents trying to split a piece of property unless I had the ability to get a legal right-of-way to it. That should be, I'm not giving you legal advice, it's just,
No, I've had.
I'm confused over this because I'm trying to save you a lot of money and heartache that's going to get you nowhere, because
and I appreciate
you need
that.
to get a legal right-of-way before you can talk about even splitting the parcel.
But I feel that what we need to do is prove later on that we have it. And after working with the Georgia Pacific and Campbell Group and people that have worked with all those maps, I believe that this can be shown one way or another. Either the intent beyond a doubt that the county council is satisfied with, or with actual easements from that property owner, which I suspect is one corporation, and I have a working relationship with that corporation.
And I'm assuming somebody's still paying property taxes on that strip of land.
I don't think so, because typically there would be an AP number on it. Roads in small subdivisions will have an assessor parcel number on. Some of my clients in the past have owned these strips they didn't even know they owned, and they were paying 20 or 50 bucks a year. They own a lot of property and they didn't know that. But that's only, I believe that's only when there's an assessor parcel, and so the county can send a bill, because the county doesn't send a bill to anybody.
Maybe the lines for the road has just been drawn in there, and actually there is no separate section of road. Maybe the road is on the subject property and all of them. There's probably never been a survey. Is this title search ever been done on that strip of land to see where it actually lays?
Yes. Yeah, we've had a surveyor out there.
And so he's determined that there is a strip of land.
Yes. Yes, now there needs to be more of a packet put together. He went as far as necessary to show us that that we're in the right direction, but he would have to produce more information. But that's part of, we want to know if it's worthwhile. I tried to find the point, the best point to stop spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and to get to a point where we can get it approved, then spend some more money. But I feel that we've done that and provided enough information that as conditioned this project. We have a lot of hoops to jump through when we get through here, but we believe that we can do it.
Just because it's assigned assessor's parcel number doesn't mean that it's not a parcel of land. Or just because it's not assigned assessor's parcel number doesn't mean that it's a separate parcel of land.
I may have misspoke on that. That's also possible that this is like what would look like on a map, a long flag lot that may be connected to other land, but I believe that Georgia Pacific has sold off everything around it, and this was the only thing they didn't sell. And because they did that so long ago, because I've seen this happen before, they did that so long ago, the strip has lain in there, and sometimes they're called hiatus, and sometimes but I've seen that sold out from around, and whatever's left. Nobody's describing what's left. They're always describing what's sold. So you can keep selling all the pieces of this desk till you come to this strip, and just because you haven't sold it, the tax assessor lost, I believe that's what happened. They lost track of it, and they probably don't even care about it because it's a road.
Okay. Could I go to Supervisor Smith? Thank you, Supervisor Pinchot. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. McKinley, I have several questions for you, and then I have questions of staff. It appears from the opening comments from Mr. Lynch, and this has been in front of the Planning Commission for a long time. He referenced a number of hearings. Do you know how many years?
The application number is at 2004, so it's probably about the middle of 2004.
So I guess my question is that, you've mentioned numerous things that you feel need resolution before such a subdivision can go forward, and I'm getting the sense that that's one of the reasons that staff feel it just isn't ready to go forward yet, because there are a number of unanswered questions. So my question for you is, why are there so many unresolved issues when it's been a point of discussion vis-a-vis the date of the original application, and that we're now here today? So why has there been so little progress, or why have the issues not gotten resolved if it's been going on for this long?
Well, there's kind of, I don't know if there's two answers to that. There is an answer to that. We've only been to the Planning Commission twice. There's been a few other times when I requested extensions, but the first time they presented some problems and we went back and addressed them. And I felt that we worked on the intent of what the problems were rather than a complete set of plans that shows how to build a road. I don't believe anybody goes that far in subdivisions, and yet we got as far as necessary. Now, the timeline of it is we need surveyors on the coast. We need lots of professional people on the coast. To get a surveyor to do something is probably the hardest profession to get to move in this county right now. They're retiring and nobody's coming in. Nobody wants to work there, and that's where we were stuck for a long time. And then and an animal like this tends to slow down and get lethargic. When I was ready to submit in October of 2007, and it took this long to get to just to get the steps necessary to get through to get to where we are. It just took a lot of time. In part, it's me too. It was the workload I had at the time also slowed things down. So I'm not just trying
I guess
to
I'm
blame
getting to
somebody
the point of there still seem to be substantive issues that the Planning Commission has because they unanimously denied. That's the recommendation. So I guess that's where I'm trying to reconcile the unanimous denial with the 4 years that it's been going on. In other words, there wasn't a split decision. They're still feeling, I guess, that there are a number of things that are inadequately addressed or answered.
Right, and I agree with that. I think the Planning Commission was quite different. It had been so long. It was like this meeting that they were at it was almost a new application to them. And there are two primary problems, and I don't think there's a long list of problems, and I think we've mitigated things. But the two problems are the right-of-way doesn't meet the county standard, and the road is narrow. And based on a previous subdivision, in part, full responsibility taken, but in part because there was a previous subdivision and road work done, and this property is the perfect property, a perfect area to be developing into small parcels. We went forward with this. The right-of-way width, we probably can't do anything with because development at the beginning of the road is quite narrow. Maybe we can work something out, but the initial indications are no. And again, we're only talking about that 286 feet and only a part of that's too narrow. But the second primary thing, so we have right-of-way, and the second primary thing is the width of the pavement. And if that's a stumbling block, I was going to try to make a case at some point, and I did at the Planning Commission, that it's very expensive. The 18-foot wide road could be put through that 20-foot area. It would involve trench grades so that there isn't any need for ditches alongside of the road. So it would be torn up and there'd be a lot of trench grading we'd done. And the question would be, would the neighbors would anybody really see that much improvement from this road that and operates well now? Once they get it paved 2 to 2.5 feet wider, will they see that as an improvement? Some of the neighbors have said they don't want a wider road because traffic will speed up.
So to the density question, Mr.